Thought our at-bats were good. I think, it's tough when you get in a hole early like that to fight back, but we did, and we found a way to get back in that game. We just weren't able to get over the hump today. I think getting home will help. Getting home and feeling that home energy in our ballpark. Looking forward to that.
We are back on the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show, and after today's loss, the Mariners sit 4.5 games behind Houston in the AL West. Astros have one more with the Angels today, then they get the Athletics this weekend, so it might be time to really hold serve for the Mariners. Let's talk about Dan Wilson a little bit, guys. I think after this 22-0 blowout the other night, this team could have really fallen off the rails. I believe with all the criticism Dan has gotten lately, there needed to be some leadership after that game, and I think he deserves a little bit of credit for keeping those guys focused and winning that next game.
I think the team really believes in Dan because Dan believes in them so much in their kind of up and down season that he's never been critical of them. He's never threw him the bus. If anything, he takes the slings and arrows and move forward, except for that one moment where Cal stepped up and said a few things. So I think the team rallies because they feel good because they want to do something good for their manager who's believed in them. And you talked about the 22-0, then they bounce out and take a big lead the next game and win. You take the crushing blow where Munoz gives up the runs in the last inning, the 10th inning against Houston. They bounce back and won the next one. So these are signs of a team that still feels like they're together, still behind the manager, and they're playing this trip 4-5, easily 5-4. The Munoz game should have never happened. They should have won that game. And then the 1-0 game in New York, no Spire to pitch the 7th inning. Maybe they win that one as well. So, and they're playing stiff competition. So I still think this team's capable. I think this team could come back, and I think Dan is doing a great job of keeping things together.
Those are all great points, man.
34 games to go.
Yeah.
34 games to go, and I know there's a lot of people out there, Bill, that are going to say they need to bring up Kade Anderson. Let's hear Mike Arroyo. He's hitting the ball strong down in Tacoma. You just mentioned the team's starting to hit the ball a little bit. Just need some pitching to step up. There's been some struggles on the road. Still have a couple tough series with the Cubs and the Phillies coming up, but what do you want to see from this team right now? And let's also, when do you want to see Kade Anderson?
Well, you think pretty much any club in the big leagues that has a prospect like Kade Anderson, they probably have got him in the big leagues by now. Nobody can really fill out 1 through 5 like the Mariners can. So you die to see him up here because he is truly polished. This is Cliff Lee, but he's only 21 years old. I mean, he's got that kind of command. He's going to pitch just like you're watching him pitch in the big leagues because of his touch, his command, his ability to repeat. But right now, there's no place for him unless you shift somebody to the bullpen, and that's going to be an abrupt thing because all 5 of these guys have been there for a long time, and believe me, they deserve to be there. So this
could you put Bryce Miller in the bullpen right now?
You could, but that's going to be a real issue of chemistry. And I don't know that you could pull the plug on Bryce and put him out there. I think if they get back in it, and if there's some, let's just say that somebody does get hurt, don't want that to happen. Anderson comes up and pitches great. They're in it again. Then maybe you could have the conversation, look, Bryce, you could be a real weapon down in the bullpen, kind of cool, calm, and collected, that Texas guy. The velocity trips up like I think it would, and he'd be great. They've really missed Matt Brash. And, Bryce Miller, I think, could be kind of a poor man's Matt Brash down there. But, these are really difficult things to do with players that have had a lot of success in that rotation. So I don't know. There's a little bit of finesse if it does happen. I think Anderson is a September call-up, and Arroyo the same way. There's no place for him to play, even though he's got the skills to come up and hit in the big leagues.
And I know they're trying him a little bit at left field. We've talked about it, Paul. His defense is a little sketchy there. Yeah.
I'm just laughing at you, man, because earlier in the week you're like, get me Kade, get me Arroyo, blah, blah, blah.
Well, was that after the 22-0 loss? I can't remember.
But here we are now. I mean, do you still feel like that about Arroyo? Do you still want to see him come up?
Well, I mean, we saw an intro. It's almost like a post-game show today. We saw Wilson come in and strike out there in the 8th inning. That was a big at-bat. Is Arroyo going to be a better fill-in right there than Weston Wilson? I think possibly. I mean, why not give this guy a chance? I mean, Weston's batting under the Mendoza line right now. There's still too many players on this Mariners roster batting under 200. Why not bring up a guy that's red hot right now?
The problem with young players is they can't sit for 6 games and then play once, or sit for 7 innings and hit once.
Good point.
That's not going to work for Arroyo. This guy is got a chance to be a real good hitter in the league. They're trying to figure out where he fits best, and that's why he's working hard in AAA in left field. He's a good athlete. He's going to pick it up. I think it's a September call-up. That's just my feeling at this point. And then they'll juggle to make things happen because they only have 2 spots. So, Anderson will certainly be one of them, but where the other guy comes into that picture, could it be Arroyo? I don't know. I know everybody's hungry for a change. Everybody sees the numbers and excited about these players, but you have to be sort of understanding that this is the club that's going to dance for the most part, whether they get there or not. It's the club you're looking at. So adding Vargas helps. Getting Brash back is the biggest thing that could happen to help this club, and they're starting to score. So there's a lot of good reason to think they're going to play better.
I mentioned it's like a roller coaster ride, Paul. When I'm going down, I don't have Bill with me, and I'm climbing back up. Bill's right next to me, and he's calming me down a little bit. Get me, we need a Bill helpline. Mariner fans need access to Bill at all times.
Nice. 1-800-CALL-BILL.
Call Bill. He'll bring you down a little bit.
Where was everybody else when I was stuck in my room, hitting my head against the wall after bad starts? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, they didn't have shows like this back then, Bill.
I know, yeah.
I think they only had 3 channels, didn't they? Black and white.
turn it by
And
hand,
he did,
right?
Paul, have a nice shout out to the Portland Pilots today.
Let's see that,
I
man.
snuck that in there.
Yeah,
well
nice.
done.
Loyal to the
You got anything you want to say real quick before we go to break, before we say goodbye to you? About the Pilots?
Well, love my Pilots forever and ever, Hope always brings eternal for the small Catholic school down on the bluff.
There you go.